Andor being one of the very few Disney Star Wars projects that actually has good quality and story going for it, is now on the line to potentially get ruined as showrunner Tony Gilroy stops producing the show because of the strikes, saying that he is with the writers and is on their side. And to me, these strikes are because of two things. One, you have the issues with pay that still many writers in Hollywood I don't think deserve one bit because of the quality of entertainment we continue to get. And number two, the underlying issue, but what I think is a much more major problem, is AI. Because with AI, Hollywood doesn't need this big of a workforce when it comes to writers. Maybe a few to touch up the scripts to make it feel more natural, but that's about it. And now the creator of Andor has pretty much stopped everything he was doing for Andor to support these strikes. The creator of the Disney Plus series, singled out on social media for performing non-writing duties, tells a Hollywood Reporter that he has stopped all such functions. And that's a big deal because this show already has its script ready for the most part, and it's ready to be shot, which makes things worse for both Lucasfilm and Disney, especially when you have Tony Gilroy, who has made a well received Star Wars show, which is something you don't see a lot from Disney. Although the show hasn't had massive viewership, well, because Disney has ruined and tainted many fans of their enjoyment from the Star Wars franchise. Tony Gilroy has told The Hollywood Reporter that he is no longer performing any non writing duties for Andor, the Disney Plus Star Wars show he created and runs. In a statement, Gilroy responded to criticism he received from a fellow Writers Guild member for performing such services during the WGA strike against the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers, which represents studios and streamers. And to me, this makes no sense having writers calling out Tony Gilroy because he is performing non writing duties for the show, even though these strikes revolve around writing and their pay, and not non writing activities. And who knows by the time these strikes are done, how the quality will turn out for Andor, as well as other projects out there, because you're going to have this void for quite some time, because many are out on strike, which hopefully doesn't happen to Andor or affect it, because this show is great, and with the creator not on set, it's not a good look, as mostly everyone who has watched it agrees it may be a slow burner here and there, but the story is pretty much ultimately great. The critique of the Andor creator and executive producer came after it was reported on Friday that Gilroy, whose scripts for season 2 of the Star Wars series were completed, was still contributing producing services, including casting and music related duties. Gilroy says he was not present on the show's set and hasn't been since the strike began on May 2nd. And when you have the man who created the show who isn't present on set, that could lead to so much problems when it comes to quality, and this is what Tony Gilroy had to say. I discontinued all writing and writing related work on Andor prior to midnight, May 1st. After being briefed on the Saturday showrunner meeting, I informed Chris Kaiser at the WGA on Sunday morning that I would also be ceasing all non writing producing functions. Gilroy said in a statement to The Hollywood Reporter, when reached by phone late Tuesday, Kaiser, the co-chair of the WGA's negotiating committee, confirmed his conversation with Gilroy. Lucasfilm, which produces Andor, declined to comment. And still to me, I don't understand why he would cease all non-relating activities when it comes to writing. I get that you want to support your writers, but that line of work has nothing to do with writing. And still, many of those writers out there, not all, but many, are just not good at their job. They just aren't, and when they aren't, they end up costing the studios tens of millions of dollars in potential losses, sometimes in the hundreds of millions of dollars. To which I don't know why these studios would bend the need to increase their pay when many of these writers just aren't good at their job. And the next few paragraphs talk about how a writer, Abdullah Saeed, called Tony Gilroy out for scabbing, saying that the scripts aren't fully completed, and if they were, then he needs to send proof that they actually are. And that's one side of the story. Then you have Disney on the other, sending out letters saying to the showrunners to continue their obligated non-writing services. And Disney can potentially replace Tony Gilroy with a whole different producer to get the show done, and that could cause a lack of vision and quality for the show to just have a massive dump in quality. And at the end of the day, many of these writers don't deserve that extra pay when they aren't good at their job, and both Lucasfilm and Disney are just continuing to get more bad news, on top of Disney just losing 4 extra million plus subscribers on their streaming platform. And with all that in mind, I'd like to hear his thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye bye.